Welcome back to the celeb episode of the Seventh Rounders. This is officially a 76ers free episode of the Seventh Rounders. I would call it a bonus episode. We've got some famous people joining us today. Everyone better sit down.
Buckle
Take a
up.
take a deep breath before we get into this. It's a privilege to announce that Connor yet again has bailed on us. So the two people you're really here for to begin with, John and I, are going to be leading this program, and we've got some special people that we'd like to introduce the world to. It's about time we got their names out there. We have a huge Yankee fan. You know what, John? I'll let John do the intro here. John, what do you have for the
Thank you, sir.
listeners?
First of all, I just want to say Connor, super selfish, once again, proving himself, putting himself first over the seventh round conglomerate. But, it gives us an opportunity to get a little creative, let the juices flow. For the majority of my day, if you think about for all my SpongeBob fans, the scene. Patrick Star, a little thought cloud goes up, and all of a sudden it's just a spilled milk. That's my brain for the majority of the day. But now I get a little chance to be creative, so here we are. Last minute text fired off. Frivolously trying to grab a couple of guests for the show. Happy to announce first guest of the day. He's he's an athlete. He will surprise you on the basketball court for both his stature, size, quickness, quick hands. He's not afraid to get dirty, create a couple steals, some turnovers. He'll fire off a crisp little pass at you too. The ace, folks, without further ado, joins us for the first time. Talk a little Eagles, talk a little Yankees.
How we doing, fellas? How we doing?
I think we found a Powers replacement. I'm going to be honest. He brings that energy that we need. It's gotten a little stale recently, and I think the ace is exactly what we need on this wonderful Wednesday night. We sit here recording, and I'd like.
You know what the best part is? I'm free of charge. You don't have to pay me a thing to come out here.
Connor was getting expensive, I will say. So
Yeah, that's
it's
what I
nice.
heard. Recent contract talks were getting high, and
It's
no one
just
wants that.
yeah, he's getting stale with those those player options. He was way too satisfied with his performance, and we're ready for a change. So to start out, initial reactions, Ace, give them to me. What are your thoughts on the breaking news, the news of the week, really? Late last night around midnight, the news dropped that Garrett Cole is a New York Yankee. How'd you react?
Well, I'll tell you what. I had some business ventures to take care of last night. It was a late one for me. I was just settling down for a long winter's nap when I got the update. Garrett Cole has signed with the Yankees for just an ass load of $345 million. I was shocked, to be honest with you. I was getting a little nervous from reports that the Dodgers were creeping in. The Angels were up in their offers. At the end of the day, though, there's a reason he's called Brian Cashman. He gets the job done. He doesn't care how much it costs. We're bringing in the best pitcher, arguably, in baseball, and we're poised for, I would say, at least 5 to 6 years of World Series contention.
So that's my first question I wanted to ask you, that first 5 or 6 years. So there is a player option after year. I forget if it's 5 or 6. So that will put him at
it is
is
year
5.
five.
So that'll put him at his age 34 season. Do you like that move from the Yankees' perspective? A good chance that you see a lot of these top end pitchers these days, whether it's Verlander or Scherzer, pitching well into their mid 30s. Do you like the move on the Yankees' part, doing what they have to do to get the job done with that player option?
I love it, actually, for a couple reasons. One, at that point, he's going to be a little older. Not to say he's not going to be as effective, but it could give the Yanks an easy out into paying the rest of his contract if they didn't want. If he all of a sudden is still balling 5 years in and can get even more money by opting out, it's going to save the Yanks quite a good amount of money when it also starts to become that time where Mr. Aaron Judge is going to want a contract. Gleyber Torres is going to want a contract. And maybe even El Gary. He might be getting a huge one too. We'll see if he can step it up at the plate a little bit when it counts. But, I think it was well done by Cashman, giving us options and giving Cole an option too. Because if he can get more money and we can save it and keep our like core players around, I'm all for it. If it buys us a couple World Series in the meantime.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So next kind of question I have for you. Oh,
can I say something real quick? Garrett Cole, I've voiced my displeasure with everything. Just it's not even the Yankees. I'm happy for the guy. I just think back, Pittsburgh Pirates, they're like everyone's little brother. They'll find the guy, they'll take him. Actually, though, the Yankees did draft Cole first, and then
people forget that.
Yeah.
People forget that.
He was a first-round pick. He said, nope, I'm going to go to UCLA, and then he gets taken first overall by Pittsburgh. Puts up a couple really rock-solid seasons early in his career. The team doesn't win very often. You could tell he wants to get out of there. He does that, has significant success. I would say he's probably the most valuable pitcher in baseball at this point, as he's been rewarded as such. So, really, though, MLB just, are the Pirates ever going to do anything? This is what it comes down to. No. But here we are. Good for him. Just wanted to get that in there.
Thank you, John. I should have gone to earlier, a beloved Pirates fan here, and he sees, any talent Pittsburgh has gone within, a year or two. I couldn't imagine what he goes through on a yearly basis. It's got to be devastating.
It is. It is devastating. I find myself rooting for like a guy like McCutchen. He's on the Phillies, but I'm rooting for him more than I'm rooting for the Pirates, honestly. It's quite a dynamic. And speaking of the Phillies, Chad, I know you got a question, but for both of you guys, Didi Gregorius, obviously he's gone, signs with the Phils. Is he a guy like, he's gone? Are you going to miss him more than just like looking in that rearview mirror for a second saying, hey, we had a good run, and then looking forward? Or like, is he going to make a significant impact negatively on your lineup?
Yeah, I think there's a couple aspects of the Didi signing. It's definitely going to help us a little bit in the cap space area. But two things I think it hurts. One is the clubhouse and just the vibe that he brought to the team. The Sir Didi tweets after every win, just being that guy, always celebrating with the teammates, building that camaraderie. People forget the guy that was before him was none other than Mr. Derek Jeter. And Didi did as good of a job as you probably could have of filling that void. No one can, but he made people think of almost that captain-like feel. But I think where we're going to get hurt the most is flexibility on the infield now. By not having Didi, it means LeMahieu's going to have to play second all the time, which means Luke Voigt's going to have to play first base, who's just not necessarily the best fielder, whereas we could have had three phenomenal fielders in a lineup at once. So I think that's where it's going to hurt a lot. Also, a lefty bat that we're losing on a predominantly right-handed team, that's also hurts as well.
I honestly could not have said it better.
Chad has said that twice now.
You're
I haven't heard that. Excited over there. Look at that.
I've heard that there, Chad.
There's
no harm in that.
Oh my God. I think Chad's found he's found his soulmate.
I feel like, John, you can hop off if you'd like, and Ace and I could finish the episode. We could talk for 3 to 4 hours, I think. But no,
we could have a day, dude. Make a nice little day out of it.
The chemistry off the bat is alarming, honestly.
So I'd like to add with that, infield flexibility. I guess the one thing that I'm really looking forward to now this year is I think this is going to provide Tyler Wade with a real opportunity to solidify himself as that utility guy. You got Glaber locked into short, really no one at second, so it's going to be LeMahieu full time. And then you got Voit, and I'm drawing a blank on that other cat's name. Who came in for Voit like after he got hurt? Mike Ford. Yep. So it's going to be, those two at first. So I think this provides Tyler Wade with a really good opportunity to show what he has. We had times last year where he received some playing time with the injuries, but never anything consistent. So I like to see what he can provide. And then they also have the Estrada as well, who got pulled up midway through last year, who I'm sure we'll see some time as well. So it'll be interesting. But I think the issue there is, if there is an injury, if Glaber was to get hurt, pray to God he doesn't, or LeMahieu, or you see an injury in the infield, it's going to create some issues. But overall, you know what, we did what we had to do to get Cole. Ace, I'm curious. So you see the
Yeah.
Yankees the last few years make some, rotation additions, nothing major, but the likes of Hap or Paxton. And I don't want to say Paxton took a step backwards last year, but he definitely was not as good as he was with Seattle the 2 years before that when he was healthy. And Hap was not as good as he was before he was traded from the Blue Jays. Um, Part of me looks at that and I look at the pitching coach situation, and obviously the Yankees have moved on and now have a new pitching coach. Do you have any concern there? Are you optimistic about the Yankees' new pitching coach? How do you feel about that from a development standpoint for Cole?
I feel fine, honestly, mostly because of not necessarily the pitching coach himself, but the development pieces we have in that clubhouse. I mean, you saw in the reports that Andy Pettit was a major reason that Cole signed with the Yankees. He's also one of the Yankees, development pieces that we have to utilize. And I mean, just look at the core of pitchers we've had in our history. I mean, there's no doubt Mariano's not dropping by from time to time to give some advice if he has to. I think Cole's already pretty much perfected his craft almost as much as he can. Things from now would just be fine tuning. And I think he could get that advice on more of the intangible stuff like pitching in New York from like Andy Pettit and those players like that. I think regarding Paxton taking a little bit of a drop off in the beginning of the year, yes, but people do forget he was on a 14 consecutive start win streak at one point, and also pitched pretty well in the postseason considering the early struggles. Hap is just old. I'm kind of out on Hap. I don't think he's going to be much of a big role piece. I actually know that they're trying to get rid of him right now, actually through trade, just to clear up a little bit more cap space, even if that potentially means tying a little draft pick or a prospect in with it, just because of Garrett Cole's massive deal coming in as well.
So going off of that last rotation spot, a lot of people looking at, projections for next year. So Cole, Sevy, 1 and 2. I personally think Paxton is still the third best pitcher on the roster, and then Tanaka is going to be in that fourth spot for 2020. Who do you want to see, or what do you think is going to happen with that fifth spot? I personally see, Germán. I don't know what his deal is, but he's obviously going to get some starts. I think they're going to give Jordan Montgomery an opportunity. I think Loaizaga will see a few starts. You see just a constant rotation in that fifth spot just to limit some of those guys' innings?
Yeah, I could see a pitching by committee, if you will, in that spot. Definitely want to see Montgomery. He started fantastic before he had the injury. I think he could really be a key piece for us. And then Germán was also arguably in contention for AL Cy Young before he got that suspension and went down as well. So, I would like to see probably both, and then maybe who's the hot hand could be something that we go to. I don't know how sold I am on Loaizaga. To me, every time he comes in, I judge it on, am I nervous? And when he comes in games, most of the time I am pretty nervous.
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm too confident on him. But Montgomery and Germán, I think that they could be really good young pieces for us.
And then last note on that, does this push the Deivi Garcia timeline back a bit? The Yankees' number 1 overall prospect, who some wanted to see up at the end of last year. That wasn't the case. Do you see that pushing back his timeline? Do you see him now as a trade chip with Cole in the mix? What are your thoughts?
I don't know if it necessarily pushes back his timeline. I could still see the timeline being whatever they had it being. But they're normally pretty stubborn on those things. And with their young players, they don't want to bring them up too soon. You look at a guy like even Aaron Judge, for instance, like kind of just burst onto the scene. And I think part of that is because of the way that we prepare them. And like they're already ready to roll by the time they get up there, full on professional mentalities. And I think you'll see him for like little bits and pieces here, just like Estrada, but I don't think it's going to be anything noteworthy or massive.
Okay. John, do you want to chime in at all? You're a little quiet over there.
Yeah, I'm ready if you guys are ready to christen a new topic and move to the NFL. Anthony, the Ace, big Eagles fan. We'll get that in post-production. Big Eagles fan here. And people have been saying this, the second coming of Brian Westbrook. Did Boston Scott single-handedly defeat the New York Giants the other night?
You know what? I think he did. I mean, granted, my quarterback, Carson Wentz, he played well down the stretch, led 2 key drives, ending in touchdowns. But the spark that ignited the team was Boston Scott. The only time I ever thought I'd say I love Boston in any capacity. And this guy came in, the juke he put on Janoris Jenkins on the sideline, I got out of my bed. That's the only thing I have in the studio is a bed, but I got up. And, I mean, I was fired up. Gave me a little bit of that jolt of we might do this, even though we were playing at the time 2-10 Giants team. But yeah, it was phenomenal.
Are we doing this? Is what we were thinking as we saw that, dude. And I pulled this up. Some people, I'm taking a sabbatical this week from the gambling side of things. Just need a break, a mental reset. But damn it, I pulled up that game and saw the Eagles sitting at plus 390. Didn't take it naturally.
I think I told you to take it, dude. I'm pretty sure I said take it.
I stayed true to the sabbatical. Kept it in mind. It's a damn shame that I had some self-control in a moment where I didn't need to do it. But I mean, is this the worst division in the last decade? Like the NFC East this year? What do you guys think? Is this the worst division we've seen?
There's got to be some AFC South.
I believe
when they've been worse.
Are the Redskins mathematically not eliminated yet? Or are they out officially, finally?
You know what? There's not many things I know except for the fact that they all suck. It is not a good division. I don't know too much about the history and like what exactly was the worst division of all time, but just looking at the teams that are running out there and the performances I'm seeing, I'm not impressed. When you have Doug Peterson saying the Miami Dolphins are a good team, that's just alarming. And that's all you really need to know.
That's right. You guys, Chad, big Dolphins fan, you guys faced off. That hurt the hell out of that future under 4.5 Dolphins bet there. Can't believe that I had to endure that. But in terms of confidence levels, sitting both at 6 and 7 with Dallas, where do you sit? Like, do you think the Philly's going to sneak on in there?
I do. I am confident that we are still in a spot to get it done. Like that we play them at home. I think we're a different team there at the Link. Been to a couple games this year. It's a good atmosphere, a lot of fun. The fans, as we know, are rowdy. It just takes one. It just takes one to get hot. And I think the snowball has started and it's rolling down the mountain now. We got the Skins this week, then the Cowboys.
I'll tell you.
Finish her off with the G-men again. So
I am praying that this game, Week 16 in Philadelphia against Dallas, is going to be a snow game. That's a 4:25 slot on Fox. Romo in gloves is one of the most handsome looks in sports. They cut to the booth. He's got the parka coat on, or what has he got on up there? It's phenomenal. Every time he's got the gloves, dude. Calling the play before it happens. Oh, I'm getting hot and bothered. Chad, anything from you for this race here? I know you're a big Cowboys guy. You love Dak. You're a believer.
I was thoroughly disappointed in the Eagles. Just the fact that, I really want to solidify that top 3 pick right now. And the Eagles they gave me hope. Watching Ryan Fitzpatrick run around out there was a sight. I love myself some Fitzmagic, but not the result I was looking for. From a 2020 draft perspective, Eagles are coming up on the clock in the first round, assuming they have a first round pick. Where would you rather have them go, wide receiver or secondary?
I think not necessarily where I would rather them go. I think it's just where they have to go. Based on what I've seen, it's got to be receiver. They're both piss poor, abysmal. I mean, we could have Clemens probably playing both sides of the ball out there, and I would be happier with what I'm seeing. But the amount of dropped passes that I've seen this year is just astounding. I walked into a cheesesteak place, and out on the tip jar it said, Nelson Aguilar is making $9.5 million, and I can catch better than him. And honestly, I agree. We got to get anyone we can. I wouldn't mind 3 picks of receivers. Give me everybody and just have a little like hands competition outside at practice and just throw the best one in. And then corner, let's figure it out. We'll sign someone if we have to, but I want anyone who can catch the ball for my damn quarterback.
Dude, I heard this from the lovely Molly Querum Rose on First Take today, saying that if a single receiver went down after Alshon went down, Josh McCown was going to be in the slot for Philadelphia. That's he was their emergency, and he would have gone in if one of their other options went
and
down.
Sadly, you're not wrong. He does have, I think, a career 4 receptions or something. I heard listening to the Philly Beat radio in the mornings. So I guess he can get the job done. I don't know, but
It's like 40.
I'm not too happy about McCown running out there, for like a 40-yard fade or something. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's not what you want. Well, hey, we appreciate your time on the show today. Hopefully we can do this again, a little 3-man dude date in the future. It's been real. It's been fun. I know you guys hit it off. Anthony, last question. Last thing to leave everyone with. I know you've dealt with it in the past. In your own words, one sentence, what's the best way to get over shin splints?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I don't know if there is one way. It takes a lot of dedication and just nurturing. One of the worst injuries I've had by far. But you just got to go with the old adage, just stay off your feet. Give them a little bit of a break. Maybe replace the soles in the shoes. I think I was wearing the same pair for 7 years. Playing basketball every day, the cartilage has to be gone. But, just give yourself a break. Take a day off. Go get a cheesesteak. Get some ice cream. Throw on the podcast and relax.
Love it. All right. Well, hey, you have a safe evening. Don't do anything I wouldn't do out there.
I definitely won't. I can definitely say I won't do anything near what you would do out here. But, Chad, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me. It was appreciated. And go Yanks, baby.
Go Yanks.